Welcome back, guys, to podcast number 2. I'm your host, Abyss, and joining me is Big Red. How you going, Big Red?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you? I can't wait.
So, Big Red, what do you know of Bigfoot?
Well, all I know is there's not much. How do I say it? There's not much information, really, is there? If you think about it,
Yeah.
Because there's people who have had first-hand accounts, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? I haven't really seen, unless I'm not looking properly, I haven't really seen much articles and stuff. Maybe that's just me not looking, but...
Yeah, there's no, scientific published work on it. It is literally a myth, or as far as most people are concerned. There are a lot of people that claim to see it, but there's no, evidence of fur or even footprints. The footprints that have been seen have been linked to different types of bears. There was even one guy who wrote a book about his encounter with a Yeti, and what it turned out, he killed this Yeti, by the way, but what it turned out to be was endangered and nearly extinct Himalayan brown bear.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so he pretty much maybe have killed one of the last specimens of its species in existence, and that's because he was not willing to look around for the evidence, because he just thought he saw a Yeti, which I don't really get, because if you see a Yeti, and for those who don't know what a Yeti or Bigfoot is, it's sort of like that evolution point of someone who's almost a human and almost an ape. They're normally very tall, 6 to 7 feet, so Big Red size. They're covered in hair most of the time, depending where they occur. In Russia and stuff, they're white, or they're brown.
Exactly like me.
But yeah, they're very interesting kind of creatures, because people claim to see them throughout time, yet there's no evidence to lead up to that part. At least with the Tasmanian tiger, in Tasmania we do know it existed. In Australia there's proof by bones, fossils, that it did exist in one area. So it's almost like the Loch Ness Monster. It's a conspiracy. People believe they've seen it. I believe maybe they believe they've seen it.
Yeah, me too. If you've seen something out of the ordinary, then you're going to say it's Bigfoot, aren't you? If it's not Bigfoot, you're probably going to say it's Bigfoot anyway. Because if you see something like what you've just described, the first thing you're going to think of is, oh, that's Bigfoot.
Yeah, because it's a matter of...
the illustrious, mythical sort of creature that is Bigfoot, you know?
Yeah, because I think it's a matter of what you're trying to look for it, because you already got this idea in your head. Have you done much field work, or just hiking in general in forests much, Big Red?
No, but I know you, that's more your field, so...
Yeah.
Go
just so you know, folks...
you can inform me on certain things.
I haven't been wandering around in America, but in the Australian bush, it is very... Especially in Tasmania, Tasmania sort of has a forest kind of environment, there would be areas in America where they claim to see the Yeti, or even Russia. Well, then you got snow and you got thicker forests, but it's really scary once you're out in there, especially for a few weeks, to kind of see how vast it is. And you could actually, I could actually believe while I was in Tassie doing that field work, that there could be a Tassie tiger there. I could be open to that suggestion. How many? It wouldn't be 500 like the population suggests, but I believe there could be one. So I do believe that people could perhaps mistake or really get scared and nervous and actually believe there is something there that has not been discovered. But I think with no even indirect evidence like a hair or a footprint, you're kind of really groping at straws, and I just can't see it being real.
No, out of all the... it's not really a conspiracy, is it? But, out of all the things that I believe, Bigfoot isn't really sort of one of them. I just don't know, you know. My dad watches a show called Finding Bigfoot, right?
Yeah, go on.
Have you heard of it?
No, I don't have fucked up.
Oh, right. Well, it's a show where these 4 people, what they do is they go out and investigate and try and find Bigfoot. And it's obvious they're never going to find him, because if you find Bigfoot, it'd be on the news. it'd be a big story. They've gone on for like 5 seasons and they still haven't found anything.
Yeah.
But what they do is they go to these communities and they give you first-hand accounts of people who think they've seen Bigfoot. But they've never seen Bigfoot. But what they've seen resembles Bigfoot. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, well, if you haven't seen Bigfoot, then what have you seen?
See,
it may just be for show, because it's one of them documentary-style type shows, but, like,
Do you know much about the behaviour of black bears?
No.
Okay, they have only just recently been seen in zoos, but there's a behaviour they do where they walk upright, and people only believe brown bears did that or black bears did that when reaching for food or only when trying to threaten and intimidate other animals or people. But it turns out black bears especially, can do that for a while. There's actually video footage on YouTube, if you just want to Google it, guys, of black bears walking bipedally on 2 legs, that is, just around, staying up. And I feel like if you stood there in a forest, not many people would know they do that. So you would automatically, if you saw something up to 6-7 feet tall walking around the forest covered in black hair, you'd be like, "Fuck! I just saw Bigfoot, mate."
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you see a 6 foot, 7 foot type bear upright, then that's going to turn your eye to it, and you're going to automatically assume you've just seen Bigfoot, but you're never going to know if you've seen Bigfoot, So that's interesting, actually, because maybe it's just like a black bear.
It could be people actually wandering in the middle of these forests, because when you're seeing them not from, it's not like someone's seeing them like up close. You're seeing them from quite far away, and if people are seeing them up close, you're bumping into something that basically quite very stealthy and quiet. So you're bumping into something that's 6 or 7 foot. You're shitting your pants. You're a human being. Many people have not actually even envisioned that animals can even harm us, and you're seeing this kind of 6 foot, 7 foot bear sneak up on you. You had the shit of your life that, like, you are so scared, and you run to these animals,
exactly.
And they can take down people pretty easily. Black bears have killed people before. So you have something like that attacking you, you're going to think a bloody Bigfoot's coming after you.
Yeah, they're not exactly weak, are they? They're pretty strong. Like, yeah, that's going to be tough. But,
yeah. There's I did some research on it, and there's a species is extinct now, but it's in Native American folklore, and a lot of Native Americans they don't really normally make up animals like the Indigenous Australians do, but not really Native Americans. From my research, if you guys think I'm wrong, comment down below, let me know. But there's a creature that's now obviously extinct, but called the Gigantopithecus. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's like a giant motherfucking bear. And it walked on 2 legs, and it occurred at the same time as people did. So, I can imagine people back then seeing it, and absolutely been petrified, and starting these stories of something like that's eventually morphed into the story of the Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's possible too. Yeah.
And we didn't know this existed till I think it's 1930s something. This thing even existed. So, and we still find species to this day. Like, none of them are 6 foot, 7 foot. I'm not going to lie about that. But we do still find giant chimpanzees and stuff around in China in the last 20 years. So there could be a possibility of something that we thought was extinct is still out there.
Oh yeah, there's always that possibility. I mean, you can't really say. Yeah, you can't say for sure either. Like, I mean, I'd go along with maybe there's something that people thought were extinct and it's not. There's the last remaining creatures about or something like that. Maybe. I agree. I'm sort of with you on that too. May not be Bigfoot, but it could be something else.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Loch Ness Monster.
We'll say
how
that
much
for another
footage
podcast.
is there really of it?
It's all subjective perception. There's nothing 110%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In saying that, man,
yeah.
have you heard of the Patterson footage?
The what, sorry?
The Patterson footage.
I've never heard of it.
Have you seen the footage of the guy in the bear suit? It's the Bigfoot one walking.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah, I have. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can. There's a lot of people that have actually claimed that's the real thing, and it does not resemble how an animal would. Like, it has a stride like a human in like big shoes and stuff. It's not like a natural stride of an animal. It's got like it is so human-like. It literally looks like someone in a suit. So for me to even believe for a second that's meant to be the Bigfoot, it's really hard to comprehend.
And there's a lot of people who just like to see if they can create a bit of buzz about it, that too, because people just dress up in a bear suit and sort of pretend they filmed it, just to make fun of their friends and stuff. You know what I mean? There's that possibility as well.
A lot of money in that as well.
Oh yeah.
You take a photo of that, you make a book, people will buy the fucking book.
Yeah, true, because people are out there wanting to find Bigfoot all the time. It's interesting, but yeah, people who do that,
Yeah, I find it very interesting more per se on the perceptions of people, like they have this mindset that exists, and they truly believe it. Like I think the thing of cryptozoology, even anything like paranormal, supernatural, you've got to come into this as a skeptic, and you have to kind of look at the evidence, and if it leads to Bigfoot, it leads to Bigfoot. But I feel like too many people come in wanting to see Bigfoot, and that's a big problem. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think you really need to look at it from a scientific point of view. Like I read one story, I listened to one story on YouTube, and this one guy, he was talking about how he heard. I'm going to cut this story short, but this guy was saying how he heard a bullfrog when he was out looking for Bigfoot. And now he got home, and it occurred to him that somehow a Bigfoot has the ability to actually mimic other animal and people's voices. So it started rabbiting next to him. I'm like, how do you even get that conclusion that a Bigfoot can make the same noise as a bullfrog?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense either. How does he... Based on all the evidence that is out there, how do you come to that conclusion at the end of it? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, and I feel like even if it did exist out there, it would have to play the roles of like an apex predator, because I don't think something that big could be strictly herbivore, and how it hasn't been caught on some sort of trail cam or anything like that, it's really beyond comprehension for me.
Yeah.
And even when you got these amateur scientist guys going out there, you think someone would find them.
You'd think, yeah.
Yeah, like what?
There's only been so many a year as well that people have found it. Like, there's not a lot of information to go off. People can believe it or they cannot believe it, but you can only go on the information that's been given to you, really, to see if you believe in it or not.
With that Bigfoot show, do they believe they've ever found it, or it's just been 5 seasons of them looking for something with flimsy evidence and never finding anything?
They go by first-hand accounts of what other people have seen.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Yeah.
Like, I watched, 2 episodes, and I was like, the life of that show isn't very big, really, because how many times can you go to a community and someone has said, I've seen Bigfoot. I was like, well, have you really, though? You're not going to know that. The people who are doing the show aren't going to know that. The viewers aren't going to know that. It's a bit like those paranormal shows where they go, this house is haunted. Like, oh, is it? Like, yeah. But you hear one noise and you go, oh my god, there's a ghost in the house. Do you know what I'm saying about that?
Yeah, I follow.
Like, it's all, like, as you were saying before, it's all about what your mind is made to believe, really. It's all deceptive and stuff,
Like, I think the thing with Bigfoot is that even though I think the world now has become a bit too small for something that's 7 foot and taller to be wandering around, especially you got to think about viable populations and how much would have to, and how long to live for, how many would there have to be for them to be able to keep reproducing and existing out there. Like, I'm not going to believe a Bigfoot can live 1,000 years. I'm sorry. But I'm gonna need more evidence than like the Patterson footage. It gets ridiculous. But I do think people kind of want to see it. I think they easily mistake bears for Bigfoot. I think sometimes, yeah, people just want it. When you want to see something, you will see it, and I think that's a big problem in any cryptozoology or paranormal supernatural kind of cult following or group or research group, that you kind of look for it when it's not there. I think you should always approach these kind of subjects presuming it's some sort of wild animal like a bear. Like a bear's the closest one I can think of off the top of my head, but I think you should approach it trying to find out what the evidence leads to, not what can you make it lead to a Bigfoot.
Would you go into it with a skepticism?
Oh yeah, 100%, 110%. Yeah, like I'd be very interested in actually going down looking for them myself if I was in America, just joining a group and going with them. I would be gobsmacked if I found one. If I saw one, and I feel like, because I have a bit of environmental and wildlife background, folks, if I saw one, I kind of know the difference between. I feel like I have a general knowledge of a bear. But in saying that, I might be so scared of the wits when I bump into a giant bear. I'll be like, it's a fucking Bigfoot. But yeah, if I see enough evidence to lead to one, I'd be more inclined to. Yeah, I go in as a skeptic, but I need like full-on evidence. Yeah, to be convinced of any issue.
Yeah, I'd be the same. I wouldn't go into it saying, "Oh, we're going to find Bigfoot today," because that's sort of giving yourself some false hope, isn't it?
I'd also come into it with the mindset that I'm looking for Bigfoot, to be honest. But I'd give the issue respect. I wouldn't be like to everyone else, I don't believe in it. I'd play along with it, but I wouldn't be like every second animal noise I heard, that's Bigfoot. He's mimicking the sound of a frog, mate. Or that's Bigfoot. He's mimicking the signs of a fucking moose. Like he's shitting out moose shit now. You can't go along with that.
No, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on all of that as well. So. We go out and find Bigfoot soon, or what?
I think we should. I think we should really give it a go before we make these ridiculous comments. We're probably just embarrassing ourselves right now. There's probably a Bigfoot watching this right now thinking, what a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, probably, because I'm real, guys. I'm here.
One last interesting thing on Bigfoot, before we move on.
Yeah, go on.
I've heard some interesting theories. Because he's almost like a cross-evolution between a humanoid and a ape or whatever, he's actually got the intelligence of like almost a person. So I saw a YouTube channel again. I'll put this link in below. But this guy believed this Bigfoot had created signs using trees. And I'm presuming, like, animals are really strong. Like, elephants can knock down trees and stuff. But this guy's grabbing trees that look pretty big, and it's been smashed down, and trying to make diagrams and sort of find evidence of these trees falling down on each other. Like, he had a point with some of it, because they was talking about decomposition of certain trees and when this would occur in time. But he was trying to look for it to make it appear as though this Bigfoot's smashing down trees to make signs. Maybe to other Bigfoots. Yeah. And I find that really fascinating. But I'm thinking, if Bigfoots are capable of that, I'm telling you, there'd be much more fucking evidence than one YouTube video of a couple of trees making like an X form or some other sign. Like, it just seemed a bit far-fetched, and he wasn't willing to kind of look at it from environmental conditions of actual brown bears going against some. You got wind, you got rain, you got just soil erosion and stuff like that. I feel like you're just looking for a sign, anything.
Send us those links, because that would be pretty interesting to watch and read and all that, you know. Maybe be a bit more informed as well.
Yeah, I definitely will, and then once a bit more informed, we can talk about Bigfoot again.
Cool.
Yeah. Sorry to our American friends, but we don't quite believe you yet.
Let's not open that door.
Yeah. Anyhow, we'll move on. The Halloween movie franchise. How do you enjoy them?
I like them. Well, I say I like them. I like 3 of them out of the. How many has it been? 10? Are we counting the remakes, aren't we?
Yeah, I counting Rob Zombies.
So we're saying 10, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's close. So I only really like 3 of them, really. Well, So the three I like would be the first one, because that's an all-time classic, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if we count Season of the Witch in that too.
No, we'll count it. It's still Halloween.
But I like the concept of Season of the Witch.
I think
so
everyone.
I'm gonna put that in there as well.
Yeah, I feel like if that was made now for a franchise, our generation would be more cool with it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
Especially
I like the Rob Zombie one.
Yeah, the first Rob Zombie one.
Yeah, the second one I don't like. That was not very good.
See,
but a lot of people think the Rob Zombie one isn't very good. I can see where they're coming from. I mean, it's the time of horror remakes, so people aren't going to like remakes these days, are they? Really?
I've always actually been a fan of many remakes, simply because I think they can do better things. I think we were talking about this before, that a lot of older films, they are quite dated now, and there's things like in C-grade horror films you can watch. There's a review coming out of mine on Death on Demand. Another review, sorry, I can't remember the name of the film, that's how bad it was, but it was a C-grade horror film, and in it, this stripper's tits got pulled off. If they would do that in a film back in the 60s, it would blow people's minds. People would be running for their heels. Like, The Exorcist was scary back then, but it's not terrifying now. People would probably laugh at it, to be honest. So I feel like...
yeah, I can sort of see your point. I personally love The Exorcist for what it is.
I know you do.
I like the different themes it has in it. But for someone like me who loves to see themes inside the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I know, it is a great film for its period.
Pardon?
The Exorcist is a great film for its period. I'm not down that.
Yeah. But yeah, I like to sort of see different things in different movies that I like to come to conclusions with. So I like the theme of God in The Exorcist and all that type of stuff, you know. But
the Halloween sequels, I really liked Halloween. Well, pretty much same order as yours, to be honest. I watched. I think Rob Zombie's Halloween is probably the second best, only because I feel like it goes in another direction. It goes much more brutal, and I think Rob Zombie did that on purpose. People complained about it, but if you look at how people are killed in real life by these stabbing victims, it's not one kill, it's 20, 30 kills, 20, 30 stabs to kill someone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I know it's brutal and it's in your face, but if you're going to watch a horror film, like, I don't mind if it's realistic like that, and I kind of like that. I think the origin story, it's good and also bad, because it does kill the mystique of the character off it quite a bit.
I think that's what people complained about when it came out, didn't they?
Yeah.
People didn't want to know the backstory of Michael Myers. And for me, at that time, when it came out, as someone who didn't really watch horror or didn't really understand movies at the time, it didn't really bother me that they showed a backstory, but I can see now how people would be unhappy with the end product of that film. But me personally, I really like it. I think it's I think it's a really good movie, actually. Well,
it's also because we didn't grow up with these films, and they hold quite an emotional attachment to people that did, and I can get that. But I'm saying, like, not most of the sequels to the original were pretty shit. Like, as much as you want to praise them, like, that goes for Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. They're not the greatest films, those sequels.
No, they're not. No, because after Nightmare on Elm Street, after the third Nightmare on Elm Street, maybe the second, turned into comedy. And while I like going back and watching those movies for the comedy factor, because some of the lines are really funny.
Yeah.
I can't really see how someone could be like, oh, that's a fantastic franchise, because it's not really. Like, the first one's great, the second one's pretty good. You know.
I think what annoys probably... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, but after a while, franchises lose their luster, don't they?
The only franchises that I can think of off the top of my head that are fantastic, like, I would have said Evil Dead, but I didn't like the third one, to be honest. I mean, like, it went a different route, so it's not a bad film. But the only real franchises at the moment that have just hit a high level and stay at a high level are modern films, and that's The Conjuring and Insidious.
Yeah, well, The Conjuring is... How do I say it? Is The Conjuring going to be a franchise?
Yeah.
They said that.
I think they are because people count it depends if you count Annabelle or not. I think Annabelle...
I think you have to count Annabelle in that,
Okay.
actually. Because if you're going to count The Nun in it, that's
Okay.
coming out this year or next year, you've got to count Annabelle as well, don't you?
Okay, well there you go. Because Annabelle was an average horror film. It wasn't great. It still spooked the hell out of me. I was petrified of that film. But whatever, fuck me,
Yeah.
right? But still, Conjuring 1 and 2... Like, Conjuring 1 was probably one of the best horror films of the decade. In a long time, at least. And Conjuring 2 it wasn't shit. It was really great. And yeah, like I liked a bit more story like number 1, but you got that franchise right there with the worst film being a average horror film to me. I don't know if you agree with Annabelle. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, it was average. Nothing really stood out to me about it. I didn't really want an Annabelle movie anyway, but, you know, I went into it with really low expectations, and it sort of hired my expectations a little bit. Because I went in so low, I was like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Okay. Well, if you got one franchise like that, that's a pretty good franchise. And then you got something like Insidious, that it's very split. For me personally, I think it just gets better and better as Insidious goes on. To be honest,
I know you really love Insidious. I know that. Yeah.
Like
yeah, absolutely.
Annabelle 2, by the way, looks fantastic.
Is there a trailer out for it, or is it just information?
Go look at the trailer.
Oh, I'll have a look at the
It's
trailer.
directed by the guy who directed Lights Out, and that was one of my favourite films of last year. So I got a lot of faith in this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James Wan is
I
the in
wasn't
it.
excited for it, because Lights Out was really good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Oh, so we're going on a tangent now, like you say.
Yeah, that's true.
When it comes to Halloween, yeah, I agree with the exact same assessment of the sequels. Even looking back on number 2 now, Rob Zombies, I still feel like that's better than anything after number 3 of the original Halloween series, to be honest.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Yeah, how do you compare it? I guess you really can't.
I'm going by like...
I sort of agree with you.
Yeah, it depends what I like Halloween for. Like, some people like Halloween because of tension and the slasher film, but I like slashers. It's to me, a slasher isn't reduced by the amount of gore you put in it. To me, it doesn't enhance it, but it definitely does. If you can make it more brutal, it does help the movie become more realistic. And I think a lot of people hated that, and that's kind of interesting when we actually think about the concept of what Halloween is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What's your favourite one?
I'm also going to go Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Right, I'll go the original. Do you like it more over the original?
Yep, 100%. I think it does.
Okay.
It's a much more brutal film. I actually almost like Halloween 2. Not Rob Zombie's, the original John Carpenter's Halloween 2. Almost better than the original Halloween. I think they're great.
Wow,
films.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I just think Rob Zombie, like, he's one good... I know it's an origin story in it, but, like, I think the effects of how it was done was fantastic. I actually like that brutality in the film. To me, I'd never seen anything like that before. I think you didn't either. We were really scarred by it when we were younger.
Yeah, we were. And we're big Rob Zombie fanboys. Like, we love his music too, don't we? So, like...
See, I like him, but I feel like he's getting repetitive with his movies. There's always the same style. Like, I do like him, but sometimes... I like when he does something different.
I like Lords of Salem. I thought that was pretty good.
That was I really think that was one that flew under the radar.
Yeah, it was, because it just came out one day, I think. And then, I was like, oh, that's a lot different to what you usually do. Well, it's not, but it sort of is, It's horror. But, yeah.
With the Halloween franchise, who was your favourite characters in it? If you had favourite characters in it? Like, did you like Dr. Loomis from Halloween 1 more, or like Rob Zombie's Halloween?
I like Laurie. I don't... Depends the accent. I'm two different accents, you know that. I'm English and Australian, so It's hard to pronounce what I'm just going to say. I like Laurie, because she's the only one from those types of franchises who you sort of care about, in a way. Like, the theme in the movie is them two. And you don't really get that with a lot of horror movies.
Yeah, I think...
But I like her the best. It's a bit of a cliche answer, but I do.
I think Jamie Lee Curtis did that kind of innocence a lot better than Scout Taylor Compton, or whatever her name was, in Rob Zombies. I feel like Jamie Lee Curtis did a better job for Laurie.
Oh, 100%. Jamie Lee Curtis is excellent. She's an excellent actress. Yeah. So
I'm just not a big fan of Laurie character, to be honest. I don't find it realistic that a female would be able to, of her size, would be able to take down someone like Michael Myers.
Yeah, that makes sense too. But I sort of suspend my disbelief at those movies.
Yeah, you've got to, like...
You sort of have to, yeah.
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 But, yeah, I feel like easily Jamie Lee Curtis is the best one. Yeah, the Michael Myers, I'm not sure which actors played him in the original ones, but I like the Tyler Mane progression. Like, I like number 2, that his mask game all ripped open. I know people didn't like that because it looked like sort of like a hobo sort of thing. When you think about it, like, he's still a person. And I kind of like that it gave him a half-ripped look, and he was still pretty fucked up from the first one. I thought it was good continuity.
Yeah, they humanised him a lot in the second one, didn't they? Rob Zombie's second one. They humanised him a lot. Which, looking back, I kind of liked. I was like, well, yeah, you sort of... At this point, you can sort of give him... You can give him a emotional centre, you know. At this point, you can. And in all the others, you didn't. He was just there.
Yeah, and if you've got a franchise like this and you're doing a remake, you've got to do it differently. There's no point doing a remake and reshooting it, only if you can do things better. Like, if they were to remake Psycho again, it's literally just for one scene of blood. There's no point doing it. With Halloween, they remade it and tried it, like, Nightmare on Elm Street, they remade it, tried it in a non-comical, really much darker element, and I was okay with that. Yeah, same as Friday the 13th though. They remade that and made Jason more smart. I actually like that remake. So yeah, I think if you remake a film, you should definitely try a new element, and that's why I'm okay to a certain degree with Michael Myers being more humanised.
Yeah, same. Yeah. But back then it was terrible. Remember?
Yeah, number 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I remember as being one of the worst films I've ever seen when I first saw that.
Looking back, do you still think it's as bad as you originally thought?
Nah.
Or do you like it better?
I think I just liked Rob Zombie's Halloween so much more, and yeah, my expectations were just so high.
What's the worst one of the whole series? Have you seen all of them, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
That's good, because I thought if we're going to talk about it, we probably have to see them all.
The worst one in my opinion is the webcam one, only because you got some black rapper guy doing karate on Michael Myers and actually kicking his ass. So yeah.
I love that. That was hilarious.
I hate it. I can't. To me.
Fuck the rhymes.
Yeah, whatever his name. Yeah. What one was that? I can't remember what number that was. But that to me was the death of it.
Was it Resurrection?
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember. But that to me was like, nah, that's the worst one.
You like that? You hate that over the one with Paul Rudd in it?
Yeah, I don't mind Paul Rudd. I can get over it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I promise you.
That's... The one with Paul Rudd, The Curse, I think it's The Curse. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's the one with the sacrifice at the end.
So bad.
Oh, it is. It is, but they still make him sort of scary. And I like that cult element they were going for. I was okay with that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Like,
I like the webcam bit in Resurrection. I thought that was pretty good.
I like that part too. I thought that was a cool element to do it in. I just didn't like that Busta Rhymes kicked his ass. Like, I thought they just ruined it for me completely.
Is it the bit at the end where karate kicks in?
Yeah, he just kicks his ass.
Oh, yeah. That's funny, though.
Yeah, but I feel like...
So funny. I'm going to watch that again tonight. I only watched 3 of them. So.
In horror slashes like that, it can be funny in Nightmare on Elm Street, it can be funny in Leprechaun. It can't be fucking funny in Halloween. I'm sorry.
Yeah, out of all of them to think out of all of them, you'd think Halloween would always be the serious one.
That should be.
Yeah, because after a while, Freddy and Jason sort of became comedy. Well, Jason did sort of.
Yeah, Freddy, I feel like.
That made
like Freddy, I'm okay with being almost like a comedy horror. I feel like that suits the style. Same as like Leprechaun series, but Jason and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween should always be a bit more darker.
Would you remake? I know we're getting off on another tangent, but would you remake Nightmare on Elm Street again?
Yeah, 100% would. I think they had the right actor the first time. I just think the film. I actually like the. I disagree with you. I like that film. To be honest,
no. That's okay. We're all allowed to have opinions, aren't we?
I just felt like.
I can tell you your opinion's wrong.
I would remake it, but what I would do is do something a bit more original than Nightmare on Elm Street. I would make a new story completely with it, just have Freddy and everything. But the remake was literally shot-for-shot remake of the original, and the original is dated, but it's not that dated. So it wasn't necessary. I would have made a new story completely. I would have something like maybe an asylum one again, or just do a reboot, but don't have every kill scene exactly the same. Like, I'm okay for a reboot if we're going to make it a dark Freddy. I'm okay with that. I'd almost have the first one, if I was to remake it, very similar to Insidious #1. Because I like Insidious, but I'd make him like haunting. I'd make all the children, not 17, younger. I'd have everyone in the film is haunting, 10 and under, and I would make it like he's almost like a ghost film. If I'm making a franchise, I started off almost like a ghost film, like Freddy, and then I would have violence at the very end when he kills each kid, but I'd almost have it like a ghost sort of haunting element of the Nightmare on Elm Street. I'd change the direction completely from slasher, to be quite honest. I'd make it more haunting, and then have people still die, still that slasher part. And maybe number 2 or 3, I'd keep the rules that you can pull them out. Number 2, I'd make it that the older brothers or something comes to avenge, pulls Freddy out from a dream, but doesn't realise by killing Freddy at the end, Freddy goes back in the dream world. And yeah, number 3, I'd have Freddy just go full blast, just fuck up 100 people or some shit like that, like go full slasher mode. But I'd reboot Freddy again, almost like a horror ghost haunting film. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
That's how I would do it.
That's a pretty decent idea. Like, I'd probably watch it anyway. What I wouldn't watch is the remake ever again.
Well, it is literally just a reshoot, and it's a bit annoying because it doesn't need it.
I would for the cast, actually. Even though the cast was absolutely terrible, I'd just like to look at it.
What, Kate Cassidy, Rooney Mara?
Yes. Yeah. She's great.
If you were to, if you were to redo Halloween, who would you direct it, and how would you go about the remake? Like, it would be a different tone, or would you keep it a slasher? How would you do
it? Who'd I get to direct it?
Yeah.
Let's not go huge directors, because we've got to be realistic. It's like Fader Alvarez or someone like that, maybe.
Well, okay.
He'd probably be really good.
So he does Evil Dead and this one?
James Wan, maybe, because he's done Saw and The Conjuring, so he may come on board to reboot a franchise.
Mm-hmm. And what direction?
Fader Alvarez might pick, actually.
What direction would you take it in?
Well, it'd be straight horror, I reckon. It would be...
Would you keep it like a slasher, how it's done, always? Or do you have any idea of where you would move the franchise? Like, because I feel like there's no real point of doing a straight reboot like the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I feel like you have to change the direction if you're going to remake a film.
Yeah, you can't do shot for shot, can you? A bit like... what's the movie that came out last year? Shot for shot. It was The Cabin.
Cabin Fever?
Cabin Fever, yeah.
What do you mean? Didn't they just... The original was like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, max, like 2000.
Yeah, they remade it. Or am I thinking of something different?
No, you're probably right, because they did remake it. I just didn't think it was a shot-for-shot remake. I didn't see the point of that.
It was that Poltergeist that was shot-for-shot remake?
Oh,
it's one of the two. Yeah, I wouldn't... I wouldn't do that. I would take it in a new direction, but you've got me on the cuff, so I'm I'm good with ideas straight away.
Cool.
I'd have to storyboard it.
Yeah.
But Vader Alvarez, I think I'm saying his name right. He'd be fantastic, I reckon, because his 2 movies he's done have been brilliant.
To be honest, I would probably, just top of my head right now, right here, I would go, if I was to do Halloween again, I would not try to make it comparable to the first one. You can use Michael Myers again, but I'd more go in the cult kind of hardcore serious way and try to do something with that. Otherwise, there's no, I think he's one of those films you don't have to reboot. And if you're going to do it, I'd make a trilogy and have him killed off at the very end of the third one. Don't make it like every other film, he's dead.
So would you do elements? You'd do elements of the first and the fourth one.
Yeah, combined. And
or is it the sixth one? Oh, I'm getting mixed up.
Resurrection,
anyway,
the Paul Rudd one.
You do.
I'd make it almost like Paul Rudd one.
Oh yeah, I can't remember if that's number 4 or number 6. How would you remake Halloween then, if you had to?
I think I want to remake Halloween. I would try to put it in a different direction than it's already been. As I said before previously, I don't see the point of remaking shot for shot. I think a remake should be done if the original one is outdated, or you can do something better with the new one, or take it in a new direction. If I was to remake the film, I think I would make it more of a cult kind of element. I really like that from Paul Rudd's Halloween. I know it's not Paul Rudd's Halloween, but he was in it. Yeah, I know that was not even a good Halloween. I know it's deplorable, but I think now we could surely make a better version of that. And yeah, I don't think I would want to do another shot-for-shot slasher film like that. I would want to make it that maybe he's the enforcer for the cult, or something along the lines of that. Or maybe you can even have, if you make a cult the center of the Halloween series, you could kind of get a few more elements out of it. Like you make, maybe in next Halloween after Michael Myers is dead, have like some sort of possession-based one. You can almost bring like an Evil Dead element out of it, like there's an evil book and shit like that. I feel like, yeah, I'd go with the cult, because there's only so much you can do with Michael, and if you're going to have a long franchise, I feel like the cult gets more runtime out of it, because you've got more characters involved. And yeah, if you're going to do a shot-for-shot remake, like I've said, you're just going to get hate. Like Rob Zombie tried a new thing, people didn't like it, some people did, like we loved it, and he still got shit for it.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why a lot of people didn't like the Poltergeist remake or the Cabin Fever remake.
Yeah, I think it's very telling. I think it's very telling we both actually get mixed up if it was the Poltergeist or the Cabin Fever. I think these remakes have got too ridiculous. It could be a completely
different movie, but I just remember watching it and thinking, wow, that's a shot-for-shot remake of what I've just seen. But I can't remember the movie, so as you say, I think that says a lot. It could be a completely different movie.
Yeah, even the Poltergeist remake, though. Did you see that remake?
Which one?
The Poltergeist.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What was the point of that one? Like, it didn't feel like it was any. I feel like the company that owned that, like, let's make our own version of Conjuring using the Poltergeist name, and it just came off shit. Like, they really had someone like Sam Rockwell just. He's a great actor, and he should have done better than that film. He should have not have been in that.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. I don't... It's unspeakable. I don't want to talk about it. But I agree with you. Yeah, it wasn't a good movie at all. And you could have made a pretty decent Poltergeist movie if you wanted to. It's not. I mean, I'm no director, but it can't be that hard to do it.
With the...
an all-right bloody Poltergeist movie, you know?
With Sherry Moon Zombie in the remakes, I was cool if they'd been number 1, but I felt like number 2 was just a way to get the family some extra cash. I did not like that she was playing the ghost Vision. I just felt like that was really a way for them to make money in the family. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought, well, actually, spoilers, guys, but it's been out for 10 years, so it doesn't really matter.
Get over it.
After she's killed herself in the first one, like, that should be it, really. Her story is over, and that should be finished. But, yeah, no, I didn't really. And she's not an actress anyway. She never wanted. I don't think she ever wanted to be an actress. I think she's like a dancer or something like that. I'm not sure.
See,
But
I
she didn't
actually
need to be.
I like her in horror films. Like I love her in the Love Rob Zombie stuff she's in, but I feel like she actually, like as you said, she may not. I think she can't play one sort of character, and I think that's in every Rob Zombie film. Like his films do get a bit repetitive, like Devil's Rejects, Housebound's Corpse. I know those two are sequels. Yeah, the most difference between her characters is really the Halloween series because you got yeah. So I do. I do think she was kind of a waste in Halloween too, and I don't think it was necessary. I like the new Doctor though. I feel like he had a cool direction. Number two, being that kind of guy who exploits the death of all those people Michael Myers killed. I feel like that was a good character development. Because in the original series, if you actually watch him, what he's actually doing, people were like he's the best Doctor Loomis ever. He had no character development. Every film, but evil is coming! Evil is coming! Evil is coming to
Yeah.
this town! Dr. Loomis, I'm sure you're exaggerating, says the local police chief. And Dr. Loomis like, evil is coming! Malcolm Myers fucks up a few people. I told you evil has come! And yeah, that's it. Every fucking film. To me, there was little to no character development. Maybe I'm misjudging it, because it has been a few years since I've watched the whole franchise. But from what I remember, his character doesn't change. When Rob Zombie's Halloween, it literally has Dr. Loomis is the normal Dr. Loomis character in the first one. Number two, exploits the death of all those people. He had his new kind of, he was an uppity author kind of guy. He's not this career counsellor anymore. And that goes for a lot of Rob Zombie's Halloween too. Like, when I do think about that film, there's a lot of character development. Did you notice how Laurie changed emo-ish and all that?
Yeah, I did. It's been a while since I've seen it though, because I only watched. As I say, I've only watched 3 of them, and Halloween 2, I don't think was one of them. But I'm very hazy on it, but I remember watching it.
Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Yeah, I remember watching Halloween 2 like a year ago, and I thought that's not as bad as people say. But I did see the change. Yeah.
Like, yeah, number 2, she's a annoying, bitchy, emo girl, PTSD, but that's still a ton more character development. Like, I know it's not the direction you wanted in, but, like, that's a ton of direction, character development in one film. And in the sequels, Jamie Lee Curtis does have character development where she does come back and eventually holds up her own and goes looking for Michael Myers. I'm not questioning that. But
Yeah.
I feel like this was much more sudden and in one film where Jamie Lee Curtis, she didn't really... I think that era, in Halloween 2, that followed Halloween 1, originals, she didn't really have that kind of stuff going on about her. I think that was just the era of the film she was in. But yeah, I feel like Rob Zombie did a lot better job in the character development phase, even if I didn't like his elements like Shaman Zombie. So I give him credit for that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Rob Zombie's, I think it stopped him from making a third one, number 2.
Yeah, 100% there. I think he's a very dividing... I think it actually really hurt his career. I think he's a very dividing and divisive director. I think he can do great films. Like, I think Devil's Rejects really showed something amazing that he's capable of. And Lords of Salem, cinematography in that is some of the best I've seen in ages. So he does have that ability.
Yeah, and House of a Thousand Corpses was excellent too. That was really fun. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was actually a bit stirred by that. I might give it another watch now and see how I feel. But yeah, I would not want Rob Zombie to do another of those traditional 80s slasher film remakes. I think he should stick to something more along... I think he should stop doing redneck films. Like, I'm kind of over them now. He's done House of Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, 31. I'm sure there's like another 2 I'm forgetting about.
is 31 out?
Yeah, it was out last year.
Was it?
2016, mate.
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Is it good? Have you seen it?
Yeah, there's an actor, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers for this at all, unless you want some, but there's an actor in it that pretty much makes you think he would have made a good Joker.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, I'll definitely watch it now.
Yeah. It's no different to whatever Rob Zombie else. You're not missing on anything, to be quite frank. But yeah, I think his best work has been honestly Devil's Rejects and Lords of Salem. And Haunted House of El Superbeasto was a funny adult cartoon. I like that one.
Yeah, that was quite fun too. Yeah, I like that too.
But when I watched it, I was like 18 and like a stupid kid, so what do I know?
Yeah, we watched that together, didn't we?
Yeah, maybe. I think I showed you because it's a cartoon girl nudie fight.
Yeah, no, it was really funny. Yeah, yeah, I like that
Yeah.
one. That was a good one.
To direct this new one, I would actually get Neil Marshall onto it. I think he can do violence pretty well.
Who?
Neil Marshall? The Descent.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd be a good director for this. I think he can do tension pretty well, which is what Halloween needs. I think if you're going to remake it, like it's been done already, I feel like we should go along with the routes of escalating and exploiting the violence. So I feel like he can do that very well as his previous films like Doomsday and stuff has shown. So I like him take directions for this. Because I don't think we should make it a ghost film unless we're going the cult way. If we're just going to do slasher films, I feel like, yeah, that's the way to go.
That's a pretty good shout. I like that. That's a good shout, for sure.
Have you got anyone in mind, or is it still James Wan and stuff like that?
Pedro Alvarez.
Fat
I was going to
Alvarez,
say, yeah, I'm settling on him because I think he's really, really good.
Anyhow, guys, I think we'll call it a day. Call it a day.
Yeah,
for
we
now.
have to because that was terrible.
I want you to know, you guys, you'll be hearing a edited version of this. So what you think it sounds fine was not.
See ya.
See you guys later.